Okay, hey everyone. So tonight's training will be doing building your online community through consistency and authenticity using social media. So we'll focus primarily on Instagram, but I would like at another time to sort of really work on Facebook and find some people who are Facebook queens that we can work with, because Facebook tends to be not really my domain. And I know a few of you here are more Instagram lovers. So we'll kind of focus on that. But something I kind of wanted to start off with is I had a chat with Ange probably about 4 weeks ago about setting up a separate page for our team and calling it We Are the Empowerment Co. and making it not like my personal thing, but making it a brand for all of us where we can share our wins and share our community and make it really cool and focus a lot on some really empowering boss babe mentality, particular for the younger girls as well, like that are anxious or that lack self-esteem and lack confidence, as a really empowering space. So there's a few really good Instagram accounts that I follow. So like Boss Babes, The Female Hustler. They're always fun, they're lighthearted, and they make business fresh. And that's sort of what I want to focus on for this separate page. And so I was having a chat with her about how she has built such a huge community through her business page or through their gratitude project. And she started quite a few years ago, so apparently it was easier to build a following back then. But basically, her key takeaway points for building a community is showing your face on video nearly every single day. So whether it's just one video, whether it's a few, you don't want to go too crazy. But she's like, her big thing has always been, you know, if you relate to this, share it, you know, repost me somewhere, and it gets her more followers. And it's about being vulnerable, and it's about being authentic and using it like your TV channel, like it's your YouTube channel. And it's the you show in the sense of what value can you give others. So you don't want to be getting onto your social media page and giving irrelevant stuff to people, because people are just in the scroll hole. They're going to look at you and they're going to pass quickly. It's about you giving extra value to people and in whatever your particular niche is. So what I wanted to do today is kind of make it a bit more interactive. Use your phone, and we're going to have a look at a few different accounts. And these are accounts that I follow because they're nichey. I know exactly what their values are, what their mission is, and I watch and follow them because I get value from them. It makes me feel good by looking at their page. And I feel like when you've got these pages to look up to and to aspire to, you can create something really epic for you. Because most of us in this business are at a point now where we can start creating something really cool for our business and for our branding. And we're not just at that early beginner stage where it's kind of like, I've just joined the Health Hub. This is really good. I've just made sweet potato brownie recipe. It's about getting a little bit deeper into your journey of health. So I wanted to go through some separate accounts, which aren't necessarily Juice Plus or gang businesses. They are businesses or people that are creating brands from all different areas. Because what I would love for each of you to do is that each of you are specialized in different areas. You all have your own particular niche. And I don't want anyone to be the same here. I want everyone to be doing something that's so particular to them that you attract your exact tribe. And I was having a chat to, yes, bud? Yes, I will in a sec. I was having a chat to Sam yesterday. I was talking about Tegan and how Tegan has found her exact tribe with the people that she talks to. Like, her ideal tribe is a mom, 3 kids. They like going to cafes. They like doing particular things. And that's the exact type of people she's attracting, because she knows what her niche is. She knows what her market is, and she knows the exact type of people she wants to bring in. Do you want to go see what Mimi's doing? 1 sec. Mom! When did I last say that? When I was like 18. Mom! Can you play with Orlando for a second? Thank you. Oh my God, I don't come home very much. It feels so weird. Anyways, so where was I at? Anyone remind me where I was at? Oh yeah. Can anyone remind me where I was at?
Tegan finding her incredible
niche. Okay. Finding your niche and finding exactly the kind of people that you want to attract. So I want to get a little bit practical. So in my most favorite diary ever, I have a page of like what I want to create in terms of my Instagram and my profile and my niche market. I know who it is that I want to attract. And as I grow and evolve in this business, that mission changes too. That community that I want to attract is going to be different as I grow and as I evolve. And there's some group chats that we've got on at the moment where I've got you to all focus on attracting your niche, attracting your partners through your niche. And it's funny, like everyone that's kind of in my team has one of their points is like ocean lover, because that is a key thing on here. For me, the people I want to attract generally have to love the ocean and the beach and that kind of adventurous lifestyle. So if we go onto Instagram now and type in, her name is Namaste Janae. So Namaste and then Jenae. So I'll just go onto hers. Everyone got her? Now, when you get onto her profile, she is about creating six-figure businesses, like through a genuine heart-centered business. And so when I kind of look at her bio, I'm like, okay, corporate failure to multiple six-figure CEO. Okay, so maybe it is that she's sharing her journey. And I look on her post, and her first post is 5 secrets to get your Instagram engagement up today. And I go, oh, wow, this is really relevant for me. I want to know how to do this. And I go, oh, manually remove followers. If you're getting people randomly clicking on your polls, which we all are, right? You go in and remove your followers because they're the bots, and the algorithms now are set up that it will attract more people to come to your page and start following you once you've cleaned out your followers list, right? So I go, wow, that's really interesting. I didn't know that. And I probably should know that because I am doing a social media business. Then her next post is, you know, how to find your niche. It's like the third one, how to find your niche. There's a picture of her, so it looks all cool. And then she talks business. And that's like, you post every day, but only hear crickets. You're struggling to find your niche. You don't know how to convert your content to money. You can't find a client in all of your followers. And I go, oh yeah, we've got that. Okay, yep, I get that. And then she shows you what she does and how to find your niche and how to attract the right people. So she is one of my favorite people to follow because she is so clear on exactly what it is that she's doing, right? If I want business advice, if I want to grow an online business, I'm going to her page and I'm following her because she is building me value and I am in her community. I'm attracted to her. I love what she's doing. I'm watching her stories because she's talking to me. I am part of her community. Now there's going to be a million other people that are talking about business and talking about Instagram algorithms, right? But she says, Namaste Janae. And so I'm like, oh, wow, like she must be into yoga and she's probably more holistic. So she's attracting me. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, okay. And then for example, another one we'll go on to, okay, everyone knows her, I hope, Sarah's Day. So, Kylie didn't know who Sarah's Day was the other day either, and I was like, oh my God, say that to me. So Sarah's Day, SARAHS_day, and she's got 1 million followers. And I love Sarah's Day because she's young and she's fun and she's fresh and she is all about a holistic lifestyle. So she has clothing lines from her health and wellness business. She is always talking about food. She's working out. She calls herself the holistic health princess. So if I want to get inspired to feel happy, to feel fit, to eat fresh, and to step up into my best self and take life a little bit lighter, I'm going to look at her page, right? I'm going to have a bit of fun and look at her page. And in her highlights, I can see that she's got, you know, all the stuff that I'm looking at. Oh, she's had a baby too. Wow, I look like her after a baby. Wow. Like, not. So you have a look at her and you get that inspiration. And she's got 1,000,001 projects. She's a workaholic, but she makes this look fun. Right? So she's nailing it. So she's one of my go-to inspiration pages for health and wellness for the younger one. There's another one. If you type in Jenna Black Official, JENNA, Black.official. This one is all about money mentoring. It's all spiritual. It's all soul-based, law of attraction. So I go onto her page when I want to get money affirmations, when I want to get, you know, like to feel good spiritually and to, you know, learn more about being a spiritual entrepreneur. She's talking to me. She's not telling me all these different things. She's not talking about health and wellness. She's not talking about all these other aspects. She's focusing on her niche, which has me engage with her, which makes me go to her page and check her out, right? And so each of you, we run a social media business. You should have at least 10 go-to pages that you look at all the time for your source of inspiration, because that will give you so much content that you can utilize and rewrite and put into your own words and make it your own, right? So you nearly did coaching with her. Yeah, she looks cool. I don't know if I'd really do coaching with too many of these people that are on Instagram, but I love their content, except for Preston Smiles. So, oh, that's another one, Preston Smiles. So Preston, and he'll come up pretty much first. When I found him, I started listening to him. I listened to his stories. I listened to what he says. He speaks to me. He's a no bullshit bloke. So like, I know, for example, Shay and Sam, you like no bullshit. Go and follow him, because he just says it like it is. And he says it in such a deep way, it like gives you goosebumps. I adore him, and that's my goal for this year, is to do some coaching with him as well, because that's the level one aspect of me wants to go to. So I have heaps more on my list. We might do one more. Earthy Andy. Sam, do you know who she is? No. Emily and Charlie, do you know who she is? Yes. Got to get young, Sam. So Earthy Andy, if I want to live in Hawaii and feel like I am such a beach girl and I want to get into making smoothies and smoothie bowls and like living a more holistic family-based lifestyle, I'm going onto her page. Her pictures are attractive to me. She has a community of people just like her, right? And she has built a crazy following because she's there every single day. She's welcoming you into her family, right? So her family is your family. It's her community that she's creating, right? So as Ange said in that chat, it's because they are showing up every single day. They're being vulnerable. They're sharing their truth. They're sharing their niche. They are doing things like tagging other people in their posts. We have like in our file section, we have a social media strategies file. So like you can go in there and look at all different clues. But I know one of Ange's big things that she was sharing was she created a chocolate cookbook and she asked Loving Earth to get involved in it. So the chocolate that she used in it was Loving Earth. Then they posted it on their page and she got lots of followers come over to her page because of that. So you want to be really interactive and you want to be brave. And I think back, I was talking to my mum about this before, but when I first started in this, I was petrified to post and I was petrified to do stories. And there are people that are more confident, like Sam. Sam was like, I don't care, I'm just going to get on there and do it. I was not that kind of person because I was like, I'm not the expert. I don't know everything. I used to be the expert in what I do. I have a baby. People are going to judge me. They're going to be like, she's not a health expert. Why is she getting on there saying that? She doesn't look fit enough. Like just all of those BS stories. And so I would just like post like, I don't know, pictures and things like that. I didn't want to get on there live. And I also have a habit, weirdly, of talking a lot. And I'm very truthful with how I talk. And I used to be scared that I was going to get on there and say something and then go, fuck, I'm on live here and I've just blurted way too much of my story that people don't need to know about. Stop. Train wreck is happening. So, yes. So basically, it was a massive fear of mine. But how do you get over that fear? You get over that fear by actually doing it, showing up, shitting yourself. You can, with your stories, for example, you're just going to record yourself. If you have to record yourself 10 times, save it to your camera roll. When you're prepared, put it up. And the more confident you become, you won't give a shit. You'll just do first recording, done, it's on there. And you have to remember when we all get into our anxious pits and we're lacking self-confidence and all of this garbage, that's because it's all about us. We have become selfish and made it all about us. Oh my God, I'm not pretty enough. Oh, my hair looks awful. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. We have filters, so you don't need to worry about even putting makeup on. But when you make it about how can I serve other people? How can I help you? How can I share the pain that I'm going through in my life? How can I share the positive outlook I'm taking? Like Emily today did some epic stories, and I know she pushed herself out of her comfort zone, sharing what she's been going through and showing some holistic things that she does to help with mental health. And I think that's such a beautiful thing because from the experience that Charlie and Emily and I have had in the last few weeks dealing with younger girls in their 20s, there is a massive issue with anxiety in young women, lack of self-esteem, lack of confidence, and worrying about what the hell everyone thinks. And these two girls are very different because they have a good, healthy self-esteem. They're still self-doubt, but they have a healthy self-esteem and they're willing to put themselves out there and do different things. But most people don't want to. So I was saying to Charlie today, like, because she has a following, if she steps out there, and the same with Em, if they step out there more and share about fearing the fear and doing it anyway, and self-worth and confidence, and not worrying if your boyfriend pays you out and you're 20, because you're probably like not going to devote your entire life to him at 20. And if he's controlling you at 20, move on, girl. Like, exactly. If they get up and share that, they're going to attract a huge market of these younger girls going, okay, it's okay. Like, we had a girl today who's had a panic attack about putting up that she was in the health hub. And I know that sounds ridiculous. And I remember how fearful I was when I started, but something like that, giving you a panic attack, is crazy. And that's the level of people lacking resilience in life. And we have the power to create a community and create influence for these young girls to have something beautiful in their lives. So by them stepping up and sharing in that arena, they are creating a community of other girls, building their self-worth, building their confidence, that will be brave enough to do one post and not care about what anyone thinks. And I think as we get older, and particularly when you hit your 30s, you have a different self-esteem where you're like, I don't give a shit what anyone thinks of me. I spent my 20s worrying about everyone. Fuck that. Like, you're not paying my goddamn bills. I have a kid to look after. People have seen my vagina because I've given birth. I don't care what people think of me. You know what I mean? So like, you're just at a different level. But in saying that, then you get the mums that are like, I'm so busy, I have one baby. Right? And when you're like a Sam or a Shay's like, I don't give a fuck. I've got 3 kids. I work as a vet. I'm studying. I work out every day. What's your excuse? You know, like, we're all such different people and we're attracting such different communities. And you go into your niche, and when you're authentically yourself, like Shay, for example, if she gets on there and she's talking about going for her run, juggling 3 kids, working, you know, preschool drop-offs, all of that, people who are similar to her are going to feel safe in her channel. And they're going to want to jump onto her page so they feel more of a sense of belonging. So they're like, oh my God, I'm not the only one that's juggling, like trying to get up and go for a run while I've got these kids, you know, like, or Sam, who's like, I'm working at home, working for NAB. I had a business. My parents have just gone through stuff. I've got a daughter. She's getting sick. Like, all of this stuff, right? She can create a community and a tribe watching her as she navigates that. And now each and every one of you have your own niche. You have your story. You have, you know, something that you're going through, whether it's something like superficial, like weight loss in the sense of that physical thing, whether it's a mental health thing that you're going through, whether it's goals and mindset and challenges. Focus on that. Be authentic. Get on every day, even if it's for 1 story or 2. Create a community, interact with people, and you will have a following. You will have direction. And just before now, we'll jump on to Charlie, but I just wanted to share as well, like, we have a social media guide. I honestly believe in this particular business, because we can be so broad. If we just plan ourselves like a month in advance, or, you know, 2 weeks ahead in terms of what our posts are going to be, we're going to have a direction. Because I think sometimes in this business, and I do it, it gets complicated because we're doing so many areas. We're doing so many different things. But what you really need to do is be authentic to who you are. Right? Be authentic. So say, for example, Charlie, which we'll get onto, is all about health and wellness and holistic lifestyle. Focus on that. And the Health Hub is just part of what she does, and the Gratitude Gang is just part of what she does. And it just merges in without having to be big and obvious, like, I'm in the gang, I'm in the gang, I'm in the gang, because it's going to scare her followers off. But if it's just integrated into her life, they're like, oh, that's just what she does. Like what we talked about the other day in training with like Sarah Stay, for example, with her Topeka and all her different products and the things she does. It's just part of who she is, and it never feels ugh. So in our team, we have the gorgeous Charlie, who has the Wholeness Hub, and she has a following of a bit over 4,000, and she has created a beautiful community. She shows up every single day, and Charlie was someone who I followed for about 6 months, and I was like, she is so cool. She needs to do this. And I'd brought it up before and it just kind of got brushed off, but I just kept loving on her and following up with her and that. And synchronicity would have it that when I actually had got in touch with her, I brought up the gang again. She's kind of like, oh yeah, I looked at it. She'd sent then Ange an email about the gang. So she'd already spoken to Ange, because Ange used to be her health coach, and she spoke to her 3 years ago, and she spoke to Adam and Kira and did a 3-way and was like, no, not for me. Right? And 3 years later, here she is on our team, not Anxious. Woo! Well, it is still Anxious, but you know what I mean. And she has this gorgeous following. So it's been really great working with her because at her young age, she has such an incredible, strong work ethic. Her goals are ridiculous for where she wants to be at like 25. And you're 21 now, aren't you, Charlie? Yeah, 21. She has like 50,000 jobs and she creates something really beautiful. So, okay, it's all right. She's allowed to have a little cough. All right, I'm nearly finished. Okay, all right. Okay. All right. So Charlie, do you want to share a little bit like how you got started, what was your big goal when you set this up, and how you've built such a beautiful following and community? I muted you. Yeah.
Cool. You can hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So I've got quite a few notes and you can tell me to just be quiet if you want me to stop, but I'll just go and I'll start. So I started, I think, must have been like 4 or 5 years ago. So it was when I was probably at one of my lowest points in my health. And I literally started a food diary. So I followed heaps of foodie accounts on Instagram, and I was like obsessed with these girls that used to, you know, like these in New Zealand, like Auckland's kind of, I don't know how you relate it to Australia, but it's kind of like the hub and there's heaps of really cool food spots. And so I'd follow all these girls and they'd go around and take pictures of their food. And it was just like really when it was all starting, it wasn't a thing. And no one knew about it because I got so teased by the people that found out about it. And then my sister and I started doing it together because she made a food Instagram as well, and we did lots of cooking together, and we used to fight about who could post what picture on Instagram, which was just stupid, but that's what we did. And then we joined forces for a while. And then with my coaching with Ange, my blog was born out of those coaching sessions. And then a year later, my sister didn't want to do it anymore, and then the Wholeness Hub was born. So that's like a really quick story, but when I started out, it was completely on accident. And I could never have imagined if you'd told myself in school that I was a really insecure, like overweight for myself, really unhappy person, that I would be now sitting here helping other people with their health in the same, like basically where I was. So now for me, my page is something that I wish I could look at when I was in school. So that's kind of how I think about it. So I'm kind of, I guess, like the older sister or the person that's gone through it before other people. So my Instagram kind of took off when I was at uni. I supported a caravan it was like on campus at uni, and I literally went every day and got my coffee, and I just like shouted them out and like chatted to this guy every day, and he made my coffee. And suddenly all these people like started going to this coffee shop, and he was like, you know, like all these people are coming because of you. And I was like, oh, that's, you know, whatever, that's cool. And it kind of just really took off from there. I ended up selling bliss balls out of the caravan, did heaps of giveaways with him. We did like coffee and bliss ball giveaways. He had heaps of connections in Dunedin, and so I kind of joined forces with some brands and some businesses there, and giveaways was a massive one. But it all started from loving on another business and just really supporting other people. Lauren also asked me to talk about how I make my gram look how it looks. So I don't really have big secrets, but I use Lightroom, and I actually use Kurt Till's Instagram presets. So that's Sarah's Day's fiance now. I think he's actually bringing out new ones, but I just use whatever one I feel like suits the photo, and I always edit them further. Just like change the brightness or whatever, but it's quite nice to have a base that you can use, and it just makes everything look quite pretty. Also in Dunedin, this was the big turning point. I wrote a blog post about like not being okay. So I basically, like, this big event happened I was in a house by myself and someone broke in, and 2 weeks before, this is getting really deep now, but 2 weeks before, these girls on campus had been raped, and I was literally sitting in my room. These guys broke into our house, and basically what transpired is I got really bad anxiety from it afterwards. I wouldn't leave the house by myself. I didn't sleep at night because I got really scared of the dark, all this stuff. And so it was a constant journey. And from the outside, people were looking at my Instagram being like, oh my gosh, she's like super happy and she eats yum food and whatever I was sharing at the time. And that really wasn't the case. And I shared a blog post basically about my anxiety and feeling alone. And I got I didn't have that many followers at the time. I got over 100 messages from all these girls messaging being like, oh my gosh, thanks so much for sharing. And they were linking it to their friends. And so suddenly there was all these people. And I think it was like what Lauren just said before, and I guess what Ange says, like being vulnerable. You have control over what you want to share because it's your social media. So if you don't want to share, you don't have to. But being vulnerable is actually really powerful because people can relate to that. They're like, oh my gosh, she's like normal. She gets it. And people would then feel like they can talk to you because you've kind of said, oh, exactly like what Em did today on her stories. What else? So how I got a following, I don't feel like I'm an expert, but support other businesses is a huge one. Love on other people, which is basically what we get taught to do here. Commenting on people's posts is really good. That's obviously loving on them, but also to actually read what they have written and comment something insightful, because people go, oh, that's quite cool. She's actually read it, not just commented a heart or being like, oh, you look great, or whatever people say. So actually say something and then engage. The other thing that all of us do is you share other people's stories. Like if you really relate to something, share it and be like, oh my gosh, go over and see so-and-so's story today. I thought it was really epic. Because they might repost you on their page as well. I also used to do something called Favorite Fridays. Shout out to my Favorite Fridays. And I used to shout out 3 accounts that I loved and was really enjoying. And that was really cool because, again, you were forming relationships with other people, and they'd often reshare as well. And so you're getting open to a whole another audience. And I also do something else on my blog where I interview people. And again, that's like another thing, shouting out other people's businesses and what they're doing. How people know what I do, which is what we're looking at on other people, like just before when Lauren was showing us other people's accounts. I use a trick, and it's if everyone gets out their phones and if you go onto your own social media feed, like when you go onto your page and you scroll, the first thing you see is like your first 9 squares, right? And so in those 9 squares, if someone's come onto your account, in all those 9 squares, you need at least like basically everything that you do. So for me, I go like 3 are about my coaching. One's like a lifestyle, probably like 2 a lifestyle. One's about the gang, one's about the health hub, one's a recipe, and one's something else. And exactly like Lauren was saying before, in terms of we're all doing different things, all of our grids could be the exact same 9 that you have to fit in your square, but they're all going to be different for all of us because we're all got a slightly different message, and how we're conveying that is different. Free stuff. People love free stuff. I don't know if you guys have this, but every time you put something like, oh, I'm giving away something, there's so much more engagement than if they're actually having to make a commitment. So I like doing like add values. So I will talk about something that I've done with one of my clients in terms of coaching, or today, who doesn't love a freebie? I love a freebie too. I'm always like, yes, I love a freebie. what was I saying? Oh, sharing about coaching, or like sharing about fear, which has come up with all of my clients this week, but has also come up with all of the girls who have been in three-ways with in terms of the gang. And so it's something that so many people are going through, and sharing that you have fear like other people do. You know, it's just starting a conversation. And a lot of the time, if you're sharing that kind of stuff, people go, oh, and they'll message you. Or like I did a post that got heaps of likes, no engagement on the actual post, but I got like 15 messages about it, because I think people were too scared on the Fair post to actually write and say that they liked it or they could relate. Oh, and another thing that I've started doing is in terms of forming relationships with people. So it's all very well for them to follow you, but you obviously want to actually connect with them a bit further. I message everyone that follows me now. So the new people that follow me. So I have a message, it's like a templated message, but it's something along the lines of, hey, beautiful, just wanted to pop into your inbox and say thanks so much for joining me here. I really appreciate it. I'm here to serve and support you, and I'd really love to know what your health goals are for the year. People love that. They're like, oh my gosh, she actually noticed. You know, no matter how big or like small your account is, people love that. I think that's, oh, there's a few other things. Do you need me to stop talking? Like, have I gone over? No? Keep talking? Okay. It's really funny because I can't hear you. I'm trying to read your lips. So stories, if you're doing a talking story, put words with your talking story. Firstly, it helps people that are, how do you say, like impaired, like when you can't hear properly? You know what I mean? When people can't hear properly, because then they can still get the value that you're talking about, but it's obviously in written form for them. But also a lot of the time, I mean, like I'm so guilty of it at the moment. I do heaps of my gratitude gang and health hub work when I'm at my other work and I'm not supposed to be on my phone. So I watch people's stories, and it's great if their writing's actually there, because I may not be listening to them speak, but I still know what they're talking about, or you get the gist of it. Also, in terms of getting engagement with your posts, like we get taught to end all of our conversations with messages, with questions. Leave at least like in your 9, like 3 to 4 with a question. So like, if you've done a post on fear, be like, so is 2020 going to be the year that you continue to let fear hold you back? And people go, oh no, that's like, no. You know, and they may not message you, but they're thinking about it. They're watching. What else have I got? Oh, okay. So, and Lauren's pretty much touched on this and yeah, nailed it. But who are you talking to? Because you can't talk to everybody. I got like a hate message the other day from this guy who thought I had no idea about stress. And I was like, you don't know me. But also none of my messages are directed at him. So it doesn't actually matter, because then there's all these other girls being like, oh, I get it, because it's for them. Because if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. I don't know if you've heard that one before. And so something that I did, and I did it for my coaching, but it's also really helpful for social media, is write down 10 pain points. So they might be your own pain points. So I pulled up mine. So some of mine are like, you wake up in the morning feeling sluggish. You're constantly lacking energy and get the classic 3 p.m. slump. Or you can use the ones that are in the Health Hub. There's like a document. I don't know if it's actually still in the PDF, but it was like, this is for you if, and there's like all these bullet points. Oh, and probably the last thing is just to bring value to people. Like Lauren said, you know, people may not message you or like straight away when you do something, but people are always watching, and they're watching what you're doing, and they are interested. And talk about what you wish people talked about. Or like if you were on social media watching someone's story or you wanted to see a post in your day, what would you want to see? Like for me last year, and it's funny that we've been talking about it in our chat, I really wanted to know people's experiences with moon cups and copper IUDs. And nobody was talking about it. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So I like got a moon cup, you know, tried it, and I spoke about it. And there's probably the most engaged thing, I mean, probably not now, but that I had ever done to that point. And it was like, you know, Sarah's day had always spoken about naturally doing things, and she'd gone off the pill and she'd healed her skin and everything from going off the pill. But she never actually spoke about then what she did, because obviously for a lot of people, the pill, for some people it's to manage their hormones, and then for some people it's obviously, it is like it's contraception. And I was just, really interested by that. So I don't know, talk about sometime, I mean, if you're comfortable, and it's obviously personal preference, but those type of things people love because they're like, oh my gosh, she's a real person, she's talking about real stuff. I feel like I've gone off on a massive tangent, but I hope that was kind of helpful.
Charlie, you are amazing. And for the other girls, Charlie was nervous, and Charlie was like, oh my God, I feel so scared about talking tonight. And wow, she was terrible. So terrible. You were incredible, Charlie. Like, you were so good. And I got so much value out of that, and I know everyone else did too. Yeah, she smashed it. So much good stuff. I took notes. I'm like, oh, I love this. And like what Charlie was sharing is that vulnerability and being authentic and having that niche market. And I know Kira says it all the time too. Like, if you're talking to everybody, you are talking to nobody. Like, no one is going to be all over every single facet of life. They want something niche. And, you know, our team chat was a little bit quiet, and I put it about the moon cup because I had my periods for the first time in like bloody 18 months. And like, it was like, oh, you know, it's so true. It's everyday stuff people want to hear about. They want to hear that you're going through vulnerability and how you're getting through that. They want to see what gets you motivated. They want to see how they can have your lifestyle. And, you know, I look at Charlie's stuff and I'm like, oh, I like her photos. Oh, look at that. Oh, that farmer's market, that looks so good. I wonder if they have a farmer's market like this. Like, you want people to be having a little inner dialogue, a little holiday when they go over to your page. And you don't want to be jamming stuff down people's heads. You want to build an emotional connection. Because when you have that emotional connection with people, like, you build that community. They feel like they know you. And I spoke about it before on one of our trainings, but like when I follow, her name's Vanessa, and she's got like 60,000 plus followers on her Instagram, and I can comment or just do a little emoticon or something like that on her stories. And she's like, thanks, babe. Thanks so much. How have you been? You know, and you kind of like, oh, wow, like, she's talking to me. And I know that I used to get messages where people will send an emoticon and I'm just like, ignore. Like, that's not building a community. And that's why she has 60,000 plus, because she will even like write back at like midnight, obviously when her kids are gone to bed, and that's how she builds her community. And I was talking to her about community as well, and she was like, this is my sisterhood, this is my tribe, these are all like-minded women who are moms who've chosen to stay at home with their kids and have a beach life and be really holistic about their health and follow this lifestyle, because, you know, it can be lonely otherwise. So she's like, I don't need a job and I don't need all of that stuff because I've got my sisterhood and community, and her husband, like, you know, made a great income, so she didn't need to work. So that was so important to her. That's her highest value. So when you can create that, even if you have 1,000 followers or 500 followers, and like most of them are authentic followers, they're your community and they love what you do, that's all. You can have 100. You have 100 people following you who love you, who think you're amazing, you're a success. Like, even 50, you're an NMD. Like, that's how crazy this business really is when you break it down to those numbers. You know, you can have like 8 frontline team in this and build an NMD business just with 8 people, right? And then they go down otherwise. But that's all you need, 8 people that want it as much as you. So if you had 20 followers on your Instagram and half of them wanted this, you're done. Right? So you don't need to have thousands. But one thing I wanted to highlight with Charlie is that she creates these beautiful relationships with her community. Like, was it the other day she sent 200 messages back and forth through her inbox? You know, that's crazy. That's how many relationships that she's building. People are commenting, people are like talking to her all the time, and she just like juggling between working at a retail job where she got in trouble for being on her phone, working her uni job, doing her health coaching. You do like health coaching now at the gym. She's got this business, like everything, and she's getting it done through life. So I think that's pretty, oh yeah, and studying at uni too. Like, it's crazy, but it's so good for excuses. And like Emily's the same, and all of you girls here are the same. You're all juggling a million and one things. So share that, build that community, because it's going to be like-minded people, or it's going to be people that want to be like you and want to have that lifestyle you have. So if you wanted to have a look at a few other accounts that I recommend, like for me that I'm obsessed with, the Calm Compound I watch, she has been able to create a presidential diamond doTERRA business. So from a network marketing point of view, she worked full-time as a lawyer, and she needed this to, you know, get her to calm down because she was a highly stressed type A. But she created this ridiculous business while working full-time within a year to create $1 million business, and got to retire her NBA playing husband. So if I want to go on there and see someone who's disciplined, who shows up every single day, no matter what, rain, hail, or shine, she is there, then I will go to her for that. But I'm not going to follow the whole aspect of her, because only part of her is what attracts me, right? So I've got that discipline, that self-discipline, and that commitment to show up for yourself every day. That's my attraction with her. There's a place on the Gold Coast called the Sweat Club, and I just love the vibe of their page. It's like girls, they're working out, they have cool clothes, they're at the beach, they're at cafes, and they have the thing is called the Booty Squad or the Booty Club, and that's part of their program that they run, but they just make it fun. So if I need to get fitness inspired, I'm going over there. Revi Jane, she is a mom and she's a personal trainer, and she has like a stack of followers. I go there, she does TikTok and just stupid stuff, but it's just like easygoing, it's relaxed, it's a massive part of that fun lifestyle that I want. In this business, like Kira is so incredible at sharing about female empowerment and stepping up to your, you know, true self and being an absolute feminine goddess. So that's really, really cool. Sarah's Day, The Rock. I love The Rock. I get motivation from The Rock. His discipline, everything about him. I love The Rock. So I'll go check out his page. As I said, Preston Smiles, a girl, the Glow Skin Studio, Sarah, who actually has a wholesale account with this business. She, on her page, it's nothing fancy. She just shares posts every single day and shows up for stories every single day about skin health. And she has her own at-home business where she does this facial called the Glow Getter. And she started when I started in this business, and her at-home business now, she had like, I think 500 followers when I met her. She's up to like nearly 6,000 because she adds so much value. She's obsessed, and her books, she's booked out until June. Like, she's booked out because she's so passionate and she adds so much value about what it is that she's doing. And then I think that's probably it. On Shani Peach, like, I love Shani Peach in this business. She's my role model. She's someone I look up to and aspire to be like in so many ways. And one second, but it's okay, you can come in. And as I build this, there's so much I want to take away from her because I naturally love it. And I'm like, so how do I differentiate myself from her? Because I just love all her stuff, but I've got a mum, so I'm making that work for the bigger picture and for the other page and stuff. So go and have a look, have pages that you follow, and reinvent yourself and step up to who it is that you want to be, and get a little bit uncomfortable. As I said, doing stories, adding extra value, getting in the trenches, building relationships. Not everyone's going to write back to you. Not everyone's going to love you. That's fine. Charlie gets hate mail. She's not worried. She's like, next, get used to it. If you want to build a brand, like that Will Smith video that I popped into our chat, you have to show up every day. Some days it's lonely, but you have to show up. You know, I've got a million things that I do too. 10 o'clock at night, when the house is like semi-tidy, I sit down and might do 2 hours at night. You get shit done. I sacrifice things to make it happen because I see the bigger vision. I see the bigger picture. It's not always success for me. I have people, team drop out. I have people block me. I have people not talk to me. You just keep going. And Ange has the same. She has her top leaders drop, you know, she keeps going. So I'm going to head off, ladies. So good chatting. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, everyone. See ya.